Game theory, 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 game theory. New game theory. Okay. Guys, the new game theory. FNAF is Golden Freddy really in Security Breach has now come out, and what if he says the same thing I do? No, he probably won't. That happened with his first theory with Gregor and Freddy. My video on that came out today, by the way. So, yeah, I have a differing opinion, but hey, it is just an opinion. God damn it, what's wrong with my hair? Okay, so now we're gonna be reacting to the new game theory, and I don't want to waste any time. Like, I was just lying in my bed watching Markiplier's live stream on Security Breach from, I don't know how long ago, like a few weeks ago, maybe, and I was just watching that, and I just, I got the notification for the new game theory, and I was like, oh, okay, I launched upward in my bed, and now here we are. So, yeah, now let's get into it now.
Coming in, Freddy. I heard you got some new eyes recently. Just want to check to make sure that they're all functioning before we send you back out there on the stage. Tell me, what do you see here?
That is my friend Bonnie. I is him.
Don't we all? Don't we all?
Yeah.
How about this one?
It's me?
Interesting response with heavy lore implications. I'll make a note of that one. All right, how about this last one?
Oh, that's the DJ, you know. DJ... No, hold on, don't help me. I have this. DJ...
Come on, Freddy, it's obviously...
Music Man! Music Man! Oh, Music Man!
He reacted to this on his stream, or not on his stream, but on his meme review. He reacted to this on his newer meme review, and he said that he wanted to reach out to this guy so he could use it for a video. I guess he did. That's hilarious. I love this. It's so good.
Internet, welcome to Game Theory, where the only thing that slaps harder than our remixes is you slapping that subscribe button. A huge thank you to Doofix from the Game Theory subreddit for helping that meme achieve its true final form, and for letting me use it as a part of this video. As I write this, his masterpiece only has 400 views, so let's blow that channel up. Links in the top line of the description. You know what to say. Fill up those comments. Let me hear you. Music Man! As the man said in the song,
let's go! Let's go! Go!
Say what you will about Security Breach, and there's certainly a lot you can say about Security Breach. The fact that it launched this weird, unseen animatronic from Pizzeria Simulator into meme lord status is perhaps its greatest accomplishment. And speaking of other unseen animatronics, today's
DJ Music Man's one of my favorite animatronics, actually.
Mini theories all about two animatronics that are notably absent from this newest game. Characters that have been with us since the very beginning of the franchise, but whose 80s shoulder pads apparently weren't big enough for the final cut. And in a game that throws so much Freddy spaghetti against a lore wall to see what sticks.
Freddy spaghetti. That's also from his meme review. Someone said that the blob should be called Spaghetti Freddy, and he was like, "Yeah, I hate the name the blob. That it should be called Spaghetti Freddy."
Excluded from the game is almost as interesting as what made the final cut. So what are the mysteries surrounding these two animatronics? Can we solve the mysteries? And what do the solutions tell us about the lore of this new game? That, my loyal theorists, is what we aim to answer today. Missing animatronic number 1, Glamrock Bonnie. We all thought it was strange when the trailers first dropped and we saw our favorite animatronics in their new 80s getup. Freddy, Chica, Foxy, kind of, and No, that's an alligator. Yep, Montgomery Gator was in, and Bonnie the Bunny was out. At first, I thought this was just gonna be a repeat of Sister Location. Introduce some new characters, reintroduce some old ones with new looks, and, you know, just leave a couple out. But then, right outside of the daycare of Security Breach, we hear this.
Have another one in existence, and I just take them out, technically.
Not anymore.
Like, have another one that does exist, but isn't in the game, I guess. But is referenced within the game, because Chica's Party World and Funtime Chica, they exist and they're referenced in this location, but Glamrock, and it's the same with Glamrock Bonnie. He exists and he's referenced in Security Breach, so it's kind of the same thing.
And
he is
that
not
right there, my
it
friends,
is
is theory bait. Stick it on a
But
fish
there is
hook
more,
and drop
yeah.
it in the water to
There's
reel
more to
me
it.
in. Clearly, this was more than just an arbitrary swapping of characters. There's a story here, a mystery
Yeah.
to solve. Glamrock Bonnie did exist at some point here in the Pizzaplex and now doesn't. And the game continues to remind us of this mystery as we explore them all. While
Where the
trying to
bunny at?
decommission Chica, you have to venture into Bonnie Bowl. And while we're up there, Freddy says this.
I do not come up here anymore. I miss him.
We even get a collectible message from Roxy Raceway that
It's
talks
really
about
sad.
him. Quote, management report. The bowling alley needs a re-theme. While most of the Bonnie art was removed, kids keep asking,
Where's Bonnie?
Do we have an officially approved response? So yeah, where is Bonnie? The kids want to know, and heck, I want to know what happened to everyone's favorite rabbit. Well, to answer that, we actually have to follow...
It's actually pretty much confirmed what happened to him. It's just like the aftermath of what happened to him that's a mystery. Like, people are theorizing that the endoskeleton in parts and service that is just standing there and twitching, people theorize that that's Glamrock Bonnie's. People theorize that Glamrock Bonnie was used to rebuild Afton and stuff like that. Who knows for sure, but it could go really either way. But what happened to him is technically already solved by the duffel bags. It's pretty much explicitly stated what happened to him.
Follow the other messages that we get in the Faz Watch. Specifically, this security alert found behind a locked Monty gate
In the
game's
parts and
opening
service looking room.
tunnel. Quote, security report 12:24 a.m. Bonnie is seen leaving his green room in Rockstar
Yeah, I
Row,
remember
heading
finding this.
east towards the atrium.
When I found this, I was like, oh, that's cool. But I was thinking more about the fact that I was in the parts and service room from FNAF VR. Or like a combination of all of them.
2:40 a.m., Bonnie enters the East Arcade. 4:12 a.m., Bonnie enters Monty Golf. Bonnie is wandering around the Pizzaplex and winds up in Monty Gator Golf. And see, this is an important detail because, as we see in both the game and the collectible messages, Monty has a bit of a mean streak going on. He likes breaking things. He also has a bit of an ego. I don't know if you noticed, but the animatronics in this game are unusually human compared to the ones that we've seen
They're not
previously.
possessed, though.
They have
Deal with it.
personalities,
I'm
emotions. We
I'm
see
joking,
Roxy
but they're
crying in
not
her room
possessed.
because we've
They're not
managed to
possessed.
escape her.
We should have found him by now. It's not fair. I'm not a loser.
Chica is just hungry all the time, and Monty wants to be the star. He's looking for a way to rise to the role of leader of the band, singer in the spotlight. We know this thanks to hole number 9 of the Gator Golf minigame. Monty is center stage, and Freddy is left out in the dumpster. So when bass player Bonnie comes rolling into his domain late at night, Monty sees this as his opportunity to take him out and become the bass player himself. This is all fairly straightforward just from reading those
Yeah.
collectible messages, but it does leave me wondering why. Why did Bonnie go to Monty Golf in the first place? Well, what
knows?
if someone led Bonnie there so he would get destroyed? Monty would get what he wants, a more prominent role in the band, and Bonnie would be quietly decommissioned and turned to scrap.
That could make sense if Vanny lured him to Monty Golf to get destroyed by Monty so that she could get his parts for Afton. I'm not sure if that's the case, but it's definitely possible. I kind of want to see in a DLC, though, in, like, the sewers or one of the underground areas, like, pieces of, like, a broken down, like, shattered version of Glamrock Bonnie, kind of. But if he's used for Afton, that's probably not going to happen, so.
Scrap that could then be used to help rebuild another rabbit that we're all familiar
Yeah.
with. One that's hiding out in the basement. Good old Burn Trap Afton. You want to know
Yep.
where Glamrock Bonnie is? Right there, right in front of your face. Burn Trap's body is Glamrock Bonnie's body. And I'm not just saying that because they're both rabbits. There's actually a couple more clues that pointed me in this direction. If we turn back to when we last saw Afton in the form of Scrap Trap during Pizzeria Simulator and Ultimate Custom Night, there were some interesting design details, namely the fact that we can see a lot of bone underneath the suit. A lot of bone. Top of his skull, his jaw, around the eyes here, even the collarbone you can make out in his jump scare. But here in Security Breach, Afton has basically got a whole new body. As Scrap Trap, he was made primarily
I think it's trying to say that, like, while he... Like, after the fire, he was kind of destroyed, but... Like, he still had leftover pieces of him. Like, he still has organs in his body, which shows that it is, like, the original Afton, and he has been trapped down there the whole time. But maybe, like, Remnant or something else. It seems more likely that it's Remnant based on the books. Because Remnant is said to, like, be able to regenerate you, kind of. so it's possible that he used like remnant, maybe from the missing kids at the Pizzaplex, to like grow more organs so that he could like get more structure to his body and like actually move and stand up and stuff. And then maybe Vanny used Glamrock Bonnie and like fixed them up, or she at least used some Glamrock endos, which explains why there's endos down there. So yeah, that's
Early of bone and
that.
muscle, but now he's almost entirely animatronic, with the exception of the weird fleshy tendons that entangle the endoskeleton, as well as the skull, which now appears to be melted into the rabbit face. But we see loads of endoskeletons throughout Security Breach. We even hear Vanessa saying that they could just put old casings onto new endos if they need to.
Monty will run the shows until Parts and Service can slap your casing on a new endo.
So why then am I so sure that Burntrap uses Bonnie's endo when they could have used any other endoskeleton? It all comes down to the hands. They make a big point in the trailers to reveal this mechanical hand with claws at the end of its fingers, and they put emphasis on it again during Afton's ending when his hand reaches outside the recharge station. On both occasions, the focus is on Afton's left hand, a hand that was completely missing from Springtrap in both FNAF 6 and Ultimate Custom Night. I mean, technically he was missing that entire left arm, but you get the point. So, what?
Oh, I think I might have figured out what he's gonna say. Monty has upgrades on his claws so that he could play the guitars better. So he has like actual claws. So maybe Bonnie had that upgrade too, and maybe that's why he has like claws, I guess.
What does any of this have to do with Bonnie? That could be any endoskeleton arm, right? Wrong. Take a look at the Glamrock endoskeletons from this game. Their hands? Yep, they don't have claws. The only animatronic whose endoskeleton does have claws? Montgomery Gator. We actually get a really good look at his hands once we've decommissioned him. But hold on a minute, I was saying that Burntrap was made from Bonnie, so why am I so focused on Monty? Well, we have to go back to the messages that we get on our Fazwatch.
Exactly.
Down in Parts and Services, we get this maintenance log. Quote, Montgomery's claw upgrades allow him to play the bass. Following performances, he mostly uses them to cause damage. Before I read this message, Monty having claws didn't really strike me as an odd design detail. I mean, the dude's an alligator. Kinda makes sense. But this message made me reevaluate that opinion. Claws are only for animatronics that play the bass. When we get the message about Bonnie being out of commission, we get this line. Quote, with Bonnie out of commission, we are making Monty the new bass player. Parts and Service have already done the proper adjustments.
Yeah, okay.
End quote. They're installing the claws on Monty because he's becoming the bass player, which means that Bonnie before him must have also had claws. They need to be built into the endoskeleton because they have to pluck the heavier strings. Therefore, the claws on Afton's new body prove that they could have only come from a single source, Glamrock Bonnie. But Glamrock Bonnie isn't the only one conspicuously missing from the Security Breach lineup. Where is everyone's favorite yellow clickbait, Golden Freddy? At first, I didn't think too much about his absence. Last we saw old yellow Fredbear, he's
not
twitching away
absent,
at
that's
the
the simple
Ultimate
thing.
Custom Night,
He's not.
keeping the spirit of Afton trapped in an endless purgatory of torment. Meanwhile, you got Old Man Consequences over here asking Cassidy, you good, bro? And encouraging them to leave the demon to his demons. So, yep, that story seemed largely done. Cassidy, aka the one you should not have killed, aka the vengeful spirit, call the kid whatever you want, this was another playing piece off the lore table.
Yes, they are the same person, by the way.
So why would Cassidy appear in Security Breach? Doesn't seem necessary. But then, it was more Freddy spaghetti time. Security Breach once again threw everything it had at the wall to see what stuck. And I do mean everything they had. Basically, everyone and everything in the series up to this point is represented somewhere in this game. FNAF 1 animatronics, FNAF 2 animatronics, tons of references to FNAF 4, a direct connection back to FNAF 6, there's Baby, there's the puppet, there's the fun times. If my theories up to this point have been correct too, you also get Crying Child, Michael, and Elizabeth. The Aftons all in one neat...
I say Vanessa is connected to Elizabeth. I made a whole theory on this about like Eleanor being in the games. Watch that video if you haven't already, by the way. So Vanessa's definitely connected to Elizabeth, but hopefully he's not saying that they are the same. Otherwise, no.
Neat little package. And that's still not all. The arcade cabinets reference everything from the original novel trilogy to the Fazbear Fright stories. Heck, in this one game, you get not only one, but two, count them, two versions of William Afton. Glitch Trap and Burn Trap. You have all the versions of pretty much all the important characters throughout the franchise. So in a title that seemingly references every other important corner of
Yep.
FNAF lore. Where's our golden boy Freddy? Well, he's there. He's hiding in plain sight, right here, inside the Princess Quest arcade games. The princess is...
You know what's funny? I used that exact image of Princess Quest for my thumbnail for my Princess Quest video that's gonna be out soon. It's funny. He just got this offline because I did too.
It's quite literally
That's actually
Golden
funny.
Freddy. Or, to be entirely accurate, it's actually the spirit of Cassidy inside the arcade game.
Yep.
I know, it seems crazy, right? And while I could try to bury the lead here and string this whole thing out, I'm not. There's just too much to talk about. We know that this is Golden Freddy because it's coming straight out of the horse's mouth. I guess it's the sheep's mouth because it's Steel Wool Studios. Anyway, if you dive into the game files, there's a character sprite folder labeled Cassidy. Open it up and what do you find? The princess. Now, I gotta be honest, that alone didn't convince me. Sure, it is a huge deal, and
It took me a while for it to convince me. I was like, oh, there's definitely a connection. That doesn't mean they're the same person. And then I was like, eventually I thought about it. I was like, yeah, it's literally saying the things that the princess does. Yeah, this is Cassidy.
obviously the golden color of the princess is a direct connection back to everyone's
Exactly,
favorite yellow
yeah.
bear, but this is also a series that's used the name Jeremy in like, what, at least 4 separate places? Is that right? 4? He's a missing children's incident kid. He sliced his face off in FNAF VR with a paper cutter. He's a security guard from the FNAF 2 paychecks, and oh yeah, he's in the latest Fazbear Frights book. So yep, those are...
Don't forget, well, that's Jeremiah technically, but it's still basically the same name. But don't forget about in what's it called, in the comedy routines. The comedy bot is like, oh, the parents just left Jeremy behind, and I think that's meant to explain the story of the missing kid Jeremy, like his parents left him behind and eventually he got lured or something.
They're the 4 instances that I can just remember off the top of my head. So forgive me if I'm in need of a bit more proof here before I call this one confirmed. So I kept digging. First, it's worth noting that in a previous theory, I suspected that the princess was actually meant to be a stand-in for Vanessa. You see, Security Breach isn't the first time that we've actually seen the Princess Quest minigame. It originated as part of the mobile port for FNAF VR when they needed some way of telling Vanessa's story. Instead of finding 16 glitching cassette tapes like you did in the original FNAF VR, the mobile port has you playing Princess Quest 1, lighting 16 braziers to eventually find the lair of Glitch Trap. Interestingly though, digging through that game's files,
That's
reveals
not
the
Glitch
Princess
Trap, though.
character wasn't
That's the
labeled
after
as
amalgamation.
Cassidy. This is a...
And keep an eye on those tentacles coming out. Hold up.
Through that
You'll see it
game's
in a
files
second.
reveals
Keep
the
an eye on
Princess
those
character
tentacles coming
wasn't
out right
labeled
here.
as
See, tentacles, just like the blob, and the body of the after amalgamation, and the body of Princess Quest Glitch Trap looks similar to the blob, meaning they combine for DLC or the next game, hopefully DLC though.
This is a new thing for Security Breach, which tells me that this was also an important story element for them. A story that, now that we have all 3 Princess Quest games to look at, suddenly takes on a different meaning. When you play Princess Quest 1, you're being hunted down by black glitchy rabbit creatures. These things are clearly working for Glitch Trap, but if that's the case,
Or they're
why
pieces
would
of
he be
Glitch
sending
Trap.
them to attack you? If the princess is truly meant to be a stand-in for Vanessa finding the tapes, wouldn't he want Vanessa to find them so she comes under his control? Rabbits attacking doesn't make sense. However, if we consider the Golden Princess to instead be Cassidy, back from the dead once more to try and stop William for good, then of course Billy Afton would do everything he can to stop the princess. I also think that each Princess Quest represents a different phase of Cassidy's experience quite nicely. In the first one, Cassidy is helpless, an innocent, helpless child lured to a back room and killed by a monster that looms in the shadows. But by Princess Quest 3, the princess is fighting back. And not just fighting back,
A little
but doing
bit,
it
but I
in
don't
the
think
same
they're
location
meant to
that we
take
walked
place
through
at the
in FNAF
same thing.
VR. Notice the large central stage, the prize corner back behind.
I don't think it's meant to take place there. Maybe it's meant to represent certain parts of her life, but the events of Princess Quest with Cassidy in the arcade game, they take place after, like later on after Security Breach, after the entire game.
Behind us and around
Maybe
its
during
side
the
stage to
DLC
left.
or something.
Now, this is an important detail because as
Because
we
of the
see
after
in FNAF
amalgamation.
VR, we're
If he
playing
actually
in the
happened,
location of the
is
missing
created.
children's incident. Glitch Trap lures us to the back room only to shove our dead body into Freddy's suit while he dances around. This is Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, where the initial 5 kids, including Cassidy, first went missing. Cassidy's story truly comes full circle. Playing through Princess Quest 3 the first time, I also thought it was unusual to have a giant...
Is he trying to say the kid in Princess Quest is meant to be or the kid in Pete's Party is meant to be Cassidy, because no, that's Gabriel.
A face looming in the background watching us. Like, why? Seriously, why? You don't just do that for decoration. And then I remembered this line from Ultimate Custom Night. I was the first. I have seen everything. This means that Susie,
she's like
the
watching
spirit inside
Cassidy
Chica, saw the
as she's
deaths
doing it?
of everyone else, meaning that she was probably watching as Cassidy was killed. Hence why she, of all the characters, would be the one watching us in this moment. So the file name matches, the color matches, the narrative arc makes sense as we revisit important locations from Cassidy's past, but that's not all. Elsewhere in the files, there's another piece of glitched text, similar to the text that we originally saw when you approached
saying
Glitch
it's
Trap
me
in Princess Quest 1, but this time it's much shorter. It'd be hard to decipher if we hadn't just decoded Afton's text before, but we did, and using that code, we're able to translate these dots as "it's me," the iconic phrase that we've seen every time Golden Freddy has been present throughout the series. Last but not least, Cassidy being here just makes sense with the story. Whenever there's William, Cassidy is close behind, hence the whole vengeful part of Vengeful Spirit. This is something that we actually see in the Fazbear Frights books, specifically the story The Man in Room 1280. In this story, we get a ruined, burned William Afton dying on a bed, haunted by an angry spirit named Andrew with curly black hair wearing an alligator mask. This very clearly is meant to be the book stand-in for Cassidy. In a previous story, Andrew outright says, quote, "I do remember wanting to get back at someone who hurt me. I think I attached myself to him. I got into his soul, made sure he couldn't move on when he should have died. I remember I wanted him to suffer the way he made me suffer." Basically, the two are inseparable. Andrew grafted himself onto Afton, and now their souls are mixed. So consider this. Glitch Trap was created when a bunch of circuit boards were scanned into a system to create a video game.
They sent us that stuff in the first place with no explanation.
But Cassidy's inside his body torturing him in Ultimate Custom Night.
Somehow, though,
So Cassidy is also scanned into the VR game.
If Cassidy was truly attached to Afton, then Cassidy's spirit would also likely be in those circuit boards.
Exactly.
Thereby creating a digital version of her, aka the princess. So yeah, I feel pretty darn confident that that is indeed Cassidy in Princess Quest. Everything I could find backs it up from a design, timeline, narrative sense. Also, the file name suggests that the king is actually Old Man Consequences. Sure, I guess. Leave the demon to his demons. Unless, of course, you want to take my sword and go ham on him. Anyway, so what does it all mean? Why is this important at all? Well, it gives us a rationale for why playing some random arcade games somehow manages to free Vanessa from Glitch Trap's control. As a reminder, if you play all 3 Princess Quest games, you get the free Vanny ending, where she turns good and joins you eating symbolic ice cream cones. But really, it's a pretty weird logical leap that playing a few random arcade games somehow gets this young woman free of the virus that's infected her brain. But now, it makes a bit more sense. At the end of Princess Quest 3, we confront a large security door that's covered in purple goo, only to get a blood-curdling scream. That goo tells us that it's Glitch Trap behind the door. It even has a glowing set of eyes on the left-hand side, which, if you squint, kinda looks like a rabbit head. This kind of goo wasn't present in the identical door within Help Wanted, implying that he is now in control. So when Cassidy unlocks the door and goes in, the digital scream that we hear from the other side is Glitch Trap dying, crying out as Cassidy...
Excuse me? What? No, Vanessa is behind the door. Cassidy is freeing her. The scream is Vanny being, like, erased from Vanessa's mind. It's not Glitch Trap behind the door. He's the one locking the door, and Cassidy's opening it.
Delivers the killing blow, and maybe, hopefully, finally, putting both of their souls to rest. Security Breach to me has been this story about endings. Throughout all of my Security Breach theories thus far, we focused heavily on the idea of characters coming full circle, giving closure to them and ending their parts within the FNAF storyline. The crying child and the missing children got their closure back in FNAF 3's Happiest Day. Henry and the puppet got their closure in the FNAF 6 ending. If I'm right about my theories, then the rebuilt Afton kids get their closure on the hillside eating ice cream here in Security Breach.
Rebuilt?
And now Cassidy. Well, all the
and you had Vanessa in that image?
Cassidy has always remained, always trying to chase Afton down, torturing him in purgatory for what he's done, so driven by anger and revenge that she couldn't let go. So this feels like a great ending to this chapter of the series. Finally, Cassidy gets to join the others and rest, putting aside their agony and putting an end to the Golden Freddy arc. and hopefully to Afton's arc as well. But there's still one more that's incomplete. One more series of secrets in this game that we haven't talked about yet. Tune in next FNAF episode as we wrap up our coverage for Security Breach by talking about the most controversial and frustrating part of it, the retro CDs, the mysterious Patient 46, and what all of that has to do with the theories that we've covered so far. So bite of 87 that subscribe button to ensure that you don't miss it. And as always, remember, it's just a theory. A game theory.
Vanessa, I need a rant about Matt Bat's new theory.
So remember...
Okay, so this theory was actually pretty good. The biggest issue I could see with this theory, though, is probably the fact that he said Glitch Trap was behind the door. That's just simply incorrect. Like, Vanessa is the one behind the door. She's been locked up by Glitch Trap. That's why the purple stuff, like the purple goo, is there. And that's why it's not on the other side of the door, because it's on the side locking it. Cassidy is opening it and freeing Vanessa. The scream is when Cassidy frees Vanessa. Like, inside the door is basically Glitch Trap. I mean, not him himself, but like, when you're inside it, that means you're taken over by Glitch Trap. So when Cassidy frees Vanessa and Vanessa gets out, Vanny is trapped behind and she screams because she's being killed off out of Vanessa's mind. That's basically what it is. So Glitch Trap himself is not behind the door. But yeah, I don't know if there was anything else. I think the Glamrock Bonnie theory is pretty strong. I actually agree with that. Golden Freddy, everything about that I agree with, except for the... Well, I think I agree with everything, except stuff that he didn't talk about. Like, he talked about, like, basically everything that I agree with, except some stuff that I believe that he didn't talk about, probably because I'm, like, the only one that actually thought about it. But, again, I have a Princess Quest theory coming out soon. But, yeah, that'll be out soon, So yeah, stay tuned for that, and yeah, I'll see you all in the next video. Let me know what you guys think of this theory, if you agree with it. I agree with pretty much all of it, except the last part with Glitch Trap behind the door. But yeah, hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye, guys.